Byron Braasch is the most hardworking, organized person that I have ever worked with, I have ever seen. His love for students is unparalleled to anyone else that I've worked with. He does everything for the students, and all the organization is on his own time. At the same time, he is willing to help anyone with anything, whether it's other band directors or other teachers in the building or district or students or parents. They ask or even hint that there's a problem, and Byron is there, has always been there to take over and help organize and help solve problems and write drill and organize music, whatever the case may be. He's always willing to help them in any capacity, plus meet them on the golf course as well. I wouldn't be the teacher or the band director or currently now the membership chair for NSBA. I wouldn't be that without Byron. He took me from my third year teaching. I was a quiet, passive, unsure band director teaching elementary band. And when I became his assistant, just watching him work day in and day out with students in the organization, that he has instilled in me the concepts and the drive to succeed for everything.
Tell us one thing that the world does not know about Byron.
One thing, he has a turtle. And it was just this little turtle that I think it was his son found on the golf course. And this turtle just came and would sit next to him and they would watch football together. So
I've known Byron for many years. We were clarinet majors together at UNL in the early 1980s, and I've also worked with Byron in Bellevue for the last 25 years. Many of his former students have gone on to study music in college, and a few of them are now music teachers themselves. For many years, Byron also served as the district administrator for the Bellevue Public Schools Instrumental Music Department. During that time, he led us in 2 curriculum revisions. His leadership the last 3 years helped us to develop our current curriculum, which I feel is very strong. Last spring, when the district administration proposed cutting 3 full-time positions from our department, Byron helped rally the troops, and we were able to convince the school board to keep these positions. Byron is well deserving of this honor. I congratulate him and wish him well in his retirement.
Byron has, over the course of his entire career, helped Nebraska bands progress. His own bands have certainly offered a level of excellence in marching, jazz, concert, solo, and small ensemble opportunities that have been inspirational. His students know the impact of hard work as they see that demonstrated by Byron on a daily basis. He's also demonstrated to the directors of the state how to be successful. He's held offices in organizations multiple times. He's offered clinic sessions at conferences. He's written drill for bands. And he's offered advice and suggestions and assistance whenever asked. I appreciate the friendship that we've shared over the years, commiserating at contests and concerts, driving vans back and forth to the BOA summer camps, and then the good and the bad times on the golf course. So Byron, congratulations on your election into the NMEA Hall of Fame.
I went to high school at Cedar Bluffs Public Schools, just a little tiny town of about 600, and highly involved in the band program. My father was a builder, and so I was going to go to UNL and be an engineer. And I made the Cornhusker Marching Band because Gary Davis talked me into trying out for that. And I really enjoyed the marching band with Doc Vogt and Jack Snyder. And I was taking engineering courses at the time, and back in those days, a computer was basically in an entire building. And in computer programming, you made punch cards. And because I was a freshman, you were at the end of the line, so you'd type your punch cards, put them into the computer mainframe, and then wait a couple hours for the results. And it would come back, you'd have a comma mistyped, and so you'd have to start all over. And I kind of said to myself, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And all my friends are band directors or music majors, so that's kind of how I got into music education then.
Where did you start your career?
I applied down in Shelby, Nebraska, and was hired to work there.
And how long did you stay there?
Well, I met my wife there the first year. She was substitute teaching, and I stayed for 2 more years after that while she was teaching in Genoa. So I stayed there for 3 years. We had kind of one of the larger programs in the state at that time, and we played for the Bandmasters Convention that 3rd year, and we were going to get married, so it happened at that point in time that Norfolk High School job opened up, and so I applied there and was selected to go to Norfolk. So the 2 of us got married and moved to Norfolk. I taught 3 years at Norfolk. Actually, that was kind of a building program, and there was only like 40 or 50 kids in the high school at that time, but they were really talented kids, and so just had a great time. Kind of built that program up, about doubled in size, and at the end of that 3rd year, I happened to be with the jazz band at Bellevue East Jazz Festival, and Rod Schmidt, who was the band director at Bellevue West at the time, said, "Hey, I'm going to be moving down to the middle school. You ought to apply." And so I applied and got an interview and didn't hear anything back. And then on Memorial Day weekend, I got a call, and so I accepted that job, and we moved the family to Bellevue.
There was an article in the Omaha World Herald where they were talking about the Bellevue West program while you were there, and one thing that stuck out to me was it said that you were at school on a typical day by 6 in the morning.
Where I grew up, I didn't necessarily have the talent that a lot of other people have, but I had a good work ethic that I got from my parents, and so we just started working at 6 in the morning, and you'd go till the work got done, and if that was 10 or 11 at night, then so be it. And fortunately, had a very supportive wife and children, and they allowed me to do that.
What do you think were the highlights of your career?
We were fortunate enough that we were able to play for six conventions from 3 different band programs. In 1999, I had been at Bellevue West for 10 or 11 years. At that time, we decided to go out of state for the first time and compete at the Bands of America Super Regional in St. Louis. And the kids had worked really super hard, and we had done a good job of preparing the kids and the parents to let's just go to this contest and see if we can get a superior rating and do the best that we can and see kind of where we land. And now it's a superior, and so the kids are all going crazy, and we had met our goal. So they were going to read off the names of the bands that were going to make finals that night, and they only took 10 at that time, and they announced our names, so we were going crazy again. We had a great finals performance. We ended up winning our class and coming in 3rd out of that regional, and so to the eventual national championships. And so that kind of spurred the kids on to work harder in all areas, because they could see that other kids from other schools were achieving at a high level, and they had some room to improve.
Who were your mentors, or who influenced you throughout your career?
Well, I was extremely fortunate. Pretty much been surrounded by Hall of Fame people my entire career. You know, Gary Davis and Jack Snyder and Bob Fote kind of got me off to a great start. I moved to Bellevue. Dave Young and Rod Schmidt and Don Reimer, all Hall of Fame members. Jack Snyder, in his infinite wisdom, would always say, Braasch, you don't have a lot of talent, but at least you work hard. So, and that'll more than make up for it.
How would you like to be remembered as a music teacher or as a band director?
At Bellevue West, our motto was a commitment to excellence. And so hopefully people will look back and say that I crescendoed through life and worked to the best of my ability.
Is there anything else that you think we should know about Byron Braasch?
Well, I'm extremely humbled and amazed, I guess, that I was elected into this Hall of Fame. It's kind of, as I look back, it's kind of the pillars of our profession, and it's very overwhelming at times. I'd like to thank the Nebraska music educators and the past presidents for voting me into the Hall of Fame. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my wife and Denise and my children Brittany and Brandon for following me through the past 30 years. You don't oftentimes get to spend a lot of time with them, but they all turned out great, and so I'm very proud of that.
The thing I remember most about Byron and his work is how unflappable he always is. Everything's pretty even keel. The year that he was they were hosting the Nebraska State Bandmasters Marching Contest at Bellevue West was the year that a blizzard came through, and the contest actually had to be delayed by 1 week. So here's Byron calling everybody the day or so before and saying, well, you're going to have to wait, and we're recycling and trying to go the next week. And in addition to having to recycle all the vendors and everything that he had to work with there were bands whose schedules would not allow them to come the following week. And then he had that all set up and going, and then found out that they weren't able to get the snow off of the field, so that the state marching contest that year was actually going to be held in the parking lot at their school. And it was kind of an exciting time, and Byron, every time you'd talk to him, he just sounded a little bit more tired, but he still sounded like Byron, and everything was okay. We've got it under control. And that's the thing that I remember the most about Byron. He's always just a very professional and thorough organizer. I can't think of a better example to young teachers or to us old teachers as to what a member of the NMEA Hall of Fame should be. So congratulations, Byron. It's an honor well deserved.